You can leave some spots darker than the others just by less blending, you know? And you're also going to take this time to use up what you have left on your brush and sort of gently outlining your moon inside the turquoise line. And you can sort of just keep spreading out what you have left on your brush. It doesn't need to look super perfect. The moon is actually very ugly if you look at it up close. So there's your moon. That's my moon, and I'm gonna stick with it. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do our stars. So you need your small brush again, rinse it off, make it nice and clean and dry. And you're gonna need blue, white, and turquoise for this. I actually need a little bit more blue. I'm running out. You don't need a whole lot. So you need blue, turquoise, and white for this. Small brush. Just gonna get a little bit of blue and a little bit of turquoise. And I'm gonna start making spirals. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use my medium round brush for this. So blue and turquoise together. A little bit more turquoise, Elise. Thank you. I'm gonna do some spirals right there. I'm gonna do one right there. You can make them about quarter sized. Make some that are about dime size. Those can be the ones that are smaller away, further away. Woo! And, you know, I'm going to cover up this messy spot that I did up here, so I'm going to make a really big star. And then I'll do one next to it. That's why things like stars, you know, things like go in the background are really fun because they can really cover up your mistakes half the time. Because your eye will go to that more than your mistake. Keep, you know, dipping blue, turquoise, just keep dipping, alternating, and just make little circles, little spirals. You can have a really starry sky and have like a ton of them, or you can just have a couple, how many stars you want. As Bob Ross would say, this is your universe. You're the master, you can do whatever you want. Oh, Bob. And then I'm just gonna wipe my brush off. I'm not gonna rinse it. Just get all the excess paint off. Go into the white. And this, again, you can use your small brush, but I'm gonna go use my medium. And I'm just gonna do dots in the center of these circles that I just did. Sort of dip, pull up, pop, pull up. If you get excess paint on your brush, wipe it off before you go back into the white again. Boop, 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 boop. Did I get them all? Yes, I got them all. Okay, I'm gonna rinse that brush. I'm gonna rinse my medium. I'm gonna rinse my medium round brush. Excuse me. All nice and clean. And then I'm just gonna spiral these out. You can go back over, again, you can use up all the paint that's on your brush and lighten up some other stars that you think aren't bright enough. So those are the stars there. I sort of like them funky looking, and I'm gonna let those dry. Okay, so now for the fun part, in my opinion. You're gonna get to use your black. Go ahead and mix some black. You're gonna need a good amount of that. and bust out that large flat brush again. Blot it dry, make sure it's nice and dry. Get this out of the way. And now we're gonna make our landmass at the bottom. It doesn't have to be even, it can be bumpy. Land is not flat. Natural land is not flat, I guess. Unbulldozed land is not flat. I usually want to start about 4 fingers. I don't really want it any more than 4 fingers because I want lots of cool ripples. I'm actually going to just do, I'm just going to do 3 fingers height. Just going to go right across. I don't care if it's even, doesn't matter. And then I'm going to fill it all in from that line to the bottom. Cool. All right, I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna bust out my small round brush. Small round brush, and I'm gonna water down my black a little bit. I am definitely watering my black down because I'm using a heavy bodied acrylic from black, which is a pain in the butt. And now we're gonna make some palm trees. Palm trees are easy for the most part. You just sort of do a line, slanted line. You're gonna use a light touch on the canvas, and then you just sort of thicken it up. Apply some pressure with your brush, let the bristles fan out a little bit because you definitely want it thicker at the bottom. And then I think I'm gonna do I'll do like another one right here. You can do as many palm trees as you want, or you just do like one really big one. But as you go down towards the bottom of the trunk, apply a little bit more pressure to your brush because then the bristles will fan out and it'll make it thicker on its own. You won't have to do a whole lot of work. Okay, so I did those on that side. I think I'm gonna do one right here. All right, definitely gonna add a little bit more water to my paint. Now we're gonna do the leaves. You're gonna want to maintain a finer point on your brush for this, so add some water to your black, and again, flatten it out, roll your brush just to make that nice fine point. And you're gonna have to do that frequently during this process. The fine lines are always like what annoy people that aren't used to painting. I'm watering my black paint down so that it's like ink. You don't want it super duper watery because you don't want it to be transparent, but you want it like a good inky consistency. Roll around, and then for each tree, you're gonna want to fan out with some bristles and just sort of curve lines. kind of like a pinwheel. And then you do the smaller one. That one was a little big. Oh well. It's okay if they cover up your stars. It's all right. That's nature, right? God doesn't make mistakes, y'all. All right. Rinse your brush. Again, you want like a nice inky consistency. I'm using a really heavy body acrylic, so it's taking a lot of water from me. But if you're just using like a tube of like acrylic you got from like Walmart or something, you probably won't need to water it down as much as I am. All right, so now I'm going to add the little leaves. I don't know. But you're just going to be making lines on each of these little pinwheel lines that you made. So I'm going down and I'm making like these little lines. I'm just going along. They don't have to be super perfect, guys. Use a very light touch. Keep rolling your brush around to make a fine point. Use a light touch because you want light little bristles. Remember, the more pressure you add to your brush, the thicker of a line you're gonna get because those bristles are fanning out. I should be playing some like Jimmy Buffett or something. Cheeseburger in paradise. I'm quarantined and it doesn't feel nice. Painting some painting that, I don't know. Okay, keep going with painting. I'm not a singer. We're just adding some little bristly leaves to these palm trees, y'all. All right, let's do the other side. I'm gonna need more water again. Keep rolling around that brush, make a nice fine point. If you've got a big branch, you're gonna need bigger lines. Big branches have big leaves, right? Keep that keep that paint a good consistency, like ink. Like already mine's starting to dry up and I'm having to add more water. These are sort of like the focal points of the painting. Mine's drying up and it's starting to get kind of ugly. All right, rinse that small brush. Make sure all that black is off of it and dry it off. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to our white, water it down just a little bit, and it's okay if you still have a tiny bit of black on your brush. It's okay, it's not gonna show up gray or anything. Water it down to ink, make a nice fine point. And you're just gonna highlight this turquoise ring on your moon and go down into your drips and just make little lines. You just sort of want to highlight them. Alrighty. Then with that same brush, go back and get some of your turquoise and mix it with your white. Turquoise and white. I'm gonna need a little bit more turquoise. Ooh. Water it down, but again, you're gonna need just turquoise and white just to make it a little bit lighter than it is normally. Just to make the turquoise a little bit lighter than it is normally. And then I'm just gonna make from the first drip on the right, I'm gonna just make some zigzags all the way down to the land. Roll your brush. You don't need to make a super nice fine point, but you want it to be, you don't want too much paint on your brush. Then from the second drip, I'm gonna do the same. Doesn't have to look any certain way. This definitely looks a little bit different than my first painting, my example one. But that, if that is anything, it just goes to show you how you really can't make everything look like the example. When I used to do this for a living, you know, a lot of customers would come into like Pinot's Palette or Wine and Design, and they get so mad that their painting didn't look exactly like the example painting, and then I would have to tell them that that example painting was my painting, and the painting that I'm going to do that night for the class isn't going to turn out like the example painting. It's just really hard to do exact copies of paintings. That's why I'm not a machine, and neither are you, so just have fun. We're painting a psychedelic moon. Who cares? Everybody's dying. Nobody's dying, it's okay. Sorry. Okay. You're just gonna thicken up your streams here. Just keep going over them with the white and the turquoise mixture, and we're just sort of thickening them up, making sure they're nice and defined. And I'm just sort of spreading out all the paint that I already have on my brush. I'm not really adding a whole lot as I go, but you definitely want to make sure it's like a nice inky consistency. as it bends, it's going to be a little bit thicker on the bend because physics. If you feel like it's starting to look like a mess, when in doubt, always use a lighter touch. Always use a lighter touch. Same could be said about a lot of things in life, I guess. I don't know. All right, let that dry. Okay, so right now is another good time to take a break. Let this dry, let your palm trees dry, and I don't know, go to the bathroom or something.